This video is about microplastics and their effects on our natural waters. Microplastics are defined by the Federal Environment Agency as solid, water-insoluble plastic particles that have the size of 5 mm and smaller. There are various plastics that you can recognize well by the prefix poly. You will surely spontaneously think of many objects that are made of plastic. Primary microplastics are produced by the wear and tear of plastic-containing materials or directly during production. Secondary microplastics result from plastic that becomes brittle due to weather conditions and then break down into smaller and smaller particles. This process is called fragmentation. The particles are blown away by the wind and spread in the air, soil, and water. This process in turn is called integration. Microplastics have serious effects on the environment because we are not able to see it and are not aware of the consequences. Or did you know that toothpaste and shower gel can contain microplastics? After using these products, the microplastic is simply flushed down the drain and enters our wastewater. Many garments are made of so-called synthetic fibers. The problem here is a discharge during washing, in which the microplastic is washed out of the clothes and enters the wastewater. Every year, hundreds of tons of microplastics are sent to German sewage treatment plants. Some of the microplastics are filtered out and end up in the so-called sewage sludge. Another part passes through the filters and thus enters nearby natural waters. A lot of food is made from cereal products. However, the grain fields are often fertilized with sewage sludge, which contains the retained microplastics from the wastewater. The use of plastic films in agriculture also causes a significant input of microplastics into the environment. Agricultural fields are therefore often polluted by microplastics. Through rain, the microplastics eventually enter the groundwater. And what do cars have to do with microplastics? The answer is tire abrasion. This is a wear and tear of car tires on the road, comparable to the abrasion of an eraser. The resulting particles break down into microplastics, enter the air and water, and can thus also contaminate the groundwater. It's estimated that microplastic input into the environment through road runoff accounts for about 66% of the total input of microplastics into the environment. With groundwater, the microplastic finally enters the oceans via rivers. But what kind of effects does it have there, and how can you help us?